Welcome back to Film Recall. Captain Marvel, one of the biggest movies of the year, so duck and cover because it's finally here. Brie Larson plays Carol Danvers, who is one of the universe's most powerful heroes, and when the Earth gets caught in the middle of a galactic war between two alien races, Captain Marvel has to come to Earth and save the day. Now, Captain Marvel is definitely set up as the next flagship character for the MCU. Avengers Endgame is coming, and people are gonna die. Not everyone's making it out of this one. Bust out the candles, bust out the Kleenexes. It's gonna be a Greek tragedy. So Captain Marvel is one of those characters who's gonna replace whoever bites the dust. So how was it? Well, it was more of a mixed bag than I was hoping it would be, but it has its really good moments, its fun moments, but it also has those aspects that hold it back from being the next great Marvel movie. But let's talk about the good. Right out the gate, I love the setting of this movie. It's set in the 1990s, and it's kind of weird to have 1990s nostalgia movies. We're so used to the 1980s, 70s, beyond that, but the 90s are now a thing of the past. They're almost 20 years ago. Brie Larson is one of my favorite actresses. I think she is incredible. It never feels like she's reading from a script, and the emotion she gives, it always feels natural. It never feels like she's acting. She's great in everything she does, especially Short Term 12. I think that's one of her best roles ever, and she brings a lot of that over to Captain Marvel. I can easily see her as the lead of a new superhero movie and a potential flagship character for the franchise, but I'm hoping that in future sequels and future crossovers that they make her character a little bit more dynamic. For me, the character of Captain Marvel is where Thor was in the very beginning. In the beginning, Thor was never really my favorite character because he was just kind of stoic and he was one note. It wasn't until later movies like Thor Ragnarok especially, he had more dynamics to his character and more depth, and now he's one of my favorite characters in the franchise. Right there with Tony Stark. It's like Tony Stark and Thor, my two favorite characters, and I'm hoping the same thing for me happens with Captain Marvel. I absolutely love her scenes with Nick Fury. I think those are some of the best moments in the movie because they're able to crack jokes, laugh, and their banter is amazing. Those are my favorite parts of the movie. But right now she gets bogged down in the problems that come with the introductory movie of a character. There's a lot of flashbacks trying to show who she was versus how she is now. All of her relationships and the editing just doesn't handle it all. It reminded me of Avengers Age of Ultron. Avengers Age of Ultron had a lot of cool components and I loved all the individual pieces. It's not like the scenes were bad, it's just the way they come together. It doesn't flow like a Marvel movie should, especially by now. It definitely feels like the earlier phases of the MCU where they were trying to take all the pieces of the comic and try to figure out how to make a 2-hour movie out of it. And I don't think that makes the movie bad. I never was watching this movie thinking that this is a bad movie. I actually really liked it. I thought it was a good movie, but these are the things that hold it back from being great. The biggest reason to go see a superhero movie is for the incredible action set pieces. Captain Marvel has really fun, exciting action. There's an action set piece on a train and that was incredible. That's what I wanted more of. It had great action, it was funny, it was exciting, it was thrilling. You get the Skrulls who can transform into whoever they want to be, and that even gives the scene a layer of mystery. It has a lot of different dynamics in play, and I wanted more of that because that felt like a unique set piece that we hadn't seen from other Marvel movies. And when you start to have this many action movies, each movie really has to have its own personality because besides the action, it's the personality of the movie and the story and how well the story is told that makes the movie still stand out this many movies later. The world building in the first act is so good. I loved it. It gave this movie its personality. It gave it a flair that separates it from the rest of the Marvel universe. After that first act, it sort of just drops the 90s nostalgia, and it's not like I wanted a whole movie centered around that, but that is the movie's personality and that is the movie's style. Here, once they start to dial down the 90s-ness of the movie, it starts to lose its style and it starts to blend into all the other MCU movies. I wish it had more of its own flavor because that's why I like each MCU movie. It's not so much to me about how cool the action is because the action's always cool. And unfortunately, Captain Marvel has those early phase 1, phase 2 problems that never made those movies bad. It just held some of those movies back a little bit. I know it sounds like I didn't like this movie. when I actually really did. It is a good movie. I'm actually gonna give Captain Marvel 2 different scores. I think in terms of story, in terms of editing, in terms of the technical side of the movie, I'm gonna give Captain Marvel a 6.5 out of 10. But if you don't care about the technical side and you just wanna go see a fun superhero movie, I'm gonna give Captain Marvel a 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10 is the rating I gave the original Thor. And I tell you that so you can make up your own mind. If you thought the original Thor was an 8 or a 9, you'll probably feel the same way about Captain Marvel. But now I want to hear from you. What is your favorite standalone Marvel movie? Thanks for watching, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe for more movie reviews every week.